Welcome to Detroit. How are you, Don?
Hey, good. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful, man. All I haven't said. I love the song. I got a question. I've never asked you this over the years. So after you guys listen to it, who's the first person outside of the band that you played the song for?
My wife, she actually has a co-write on the song. She it started out as I was sitting at a dining room table and I was playing some chords, and she was in the kitchen, and she has a musical mind. She had her own band years ago. She went into the professional stockbroker, business and all that. But she turned around the corner and she said, "That sounds like that should be called All I Haven't Said." And it just came out of like nowhere. I'm like, "What? Say that again?" It was. I was so surprised, and so I said, "You got any more compelling titles like that?" She said, "Well, play some more compelling chords like that. Maybe I'll help you out."
So it's the lyrics are great, and it's such a cool vibe to the song. Um, is it a compliment when I'm comparing it to other artists of
Yeah,
okay? Marshall Tucker to me. It's got a Marshall Tucker feel.
yeah. So,
Like it, yeah.
it was kind of my throwback to the '60s jangly guitars. We were big fans of the Searchers and Beatles and that kind of thing from so long ago. But so what's old is new again. We just put a little more power chords to it. But yeah, some people said it has a little bit of country in it.
I like the tambourine. I like hearing a tambourine. I think a tambourine
Tambourine.
works. Yeah.
I tell the guy, the sound guy live, I said, "Turn the tambourine up. It's important for this song for some reason." What he does is when we're introducing a new single live, you have to try to recreate the record. So it's like he was making phone tapes every night and letting me hear them after the show. And I'd say, "Okay, you turn this harmony part up, turn the tambourine up, turn this." You try to just focus in on it a little bit better.
I was talking to, I don't remember who, I think it was Patton Oswalt told the story that when comedians release an album, those jokes are done. They can never do them live because everyone wants to hear what's next. When a
Yeah,
band releases an album, you're expected to play songs off the album, and then people want to hear everything from the past too.
yeah.
It's got to be a weird little dance for you to sit down and go, all right, I've got a new album, we've got a new project coming out, and then you want to fold it into all the great songs that you've done with 38 Special. That must take time to shape.
Man, I'm telling you, you're walking me through exactly what we just did, Jim.
Is that right? Okay. Well, what do you do? Walk me through it then. Tell me how
Well,
you guys do this.
because we're fortunate enough to have all those hit songs over the years, we have put some medleys together, several medleys where you do about 2.5 minutes of it and bang it right up against another song, another hit song. So we're just like do about 4 in a row, and people are blown away, like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Teacher, teacher. Oh yeah, I remember that one." And so you're taking them for a ride, but at the same time, you can only play. We were doing 102 minutes. That's over an hour and a half. So you have to steal time here and there and take something out that you played too long for too many years. It's like, okay, we've gotten that out of our system. So we've got to save some time for the new single and then another one, and that. So you eventually start kind of what's the word? You just kind of mold them all together. So there's a part where I'll talk to the audience and give a second, but pretty much it's a ride all the way through the show. But yeah, you're trying to borrow a minute here, and try to keep it all up so you're not there all night long.
I do like the fact that when I hear new music from artists that I love, like you guys with 38 Special, and obviously your connection here to Detroit, we'll talk about AC/DC and our apology. We need to when they open for you guys. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, we need to address that because I never knew about that story till recently.
That was Cobo Hall, yeah.
I love it when you guys get out there, and I'm telling everyone, if you haven't listened to All I Haven't Said, you need to. But I want to hear you guys talk about it like you just told me. I like it when the artist gets up there and explains a story behind the song, the creative or what it means or why they wrote it. And then I lean into it. But if they go, "Here's a new song," I'm like, well, I'm off to get a beer.
Well, I like to hear that too, but again, it's time consuming to talk and explain songs how you wrote them. So I mean, I guess that's kind of like what we're here for now, but to explain some songs. But yeah, it's just again, it's kind of it's a nice I guess it's a good experience to have that many songs, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a curse because you can't get everything in there, you know? So, yeah, we try to, we try to balance it all out. Yeah.
So what the hell happened at Kobo with AC/DC?
Well, that was back when Bon Scott was singing. It was they
Right.
opened for him, but and their dressing room was right next to ours, and they, Bon Scott would put Angus up on his shoulders and go out in the crowd. If you remember all those years ago, they would do that. They'd run out in the crowd, and it was their first time over here from Australia, and so they were just trying to break in new ground, and they got people started, throwing garbage, bottles, and trash at them because it's a hardcore audience. They've seen it all and done it all, so they were really accepting of them the first time, and they were back there in the dressing room and they were really upset about it all. And I was trying to console, they're little guys, little Australian guys, and I'm kind of towering over them. I said, you just got to keep coming back and believing that these people believe in your music, and you got to keep hitting these cities over and over. You just win them over. That's what we had to do. I said, we weren't very accepted either, but, and so, next thing you know, they're rock gods, the biggest in the world, So I think it took a good advice from me,
You're like, I'm the guy that gave the halftime speech from Friday Night Lights.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
the one that gave him that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
There's been a
full
lot of
credit for that, Tom.
experiences like that. There's been a lot of experiences like that through the years. Brendan O'Brien was a producer here in Atlanta. He went on to be the guy, the industry guy. Pearl Jam and Aerosmith and just Bruce Springsteen, everybody. But I'd worked with him in a little 8-track studio, and he had 2 little babies. His wife was coming to pick him up in a little Pinto with a 90-mile tire on it. And I was like kind of concerned about their safety. I said, man, let me hear, it was a couple of $100. Go buy yourself a tire and put on the car there, And I told him, I said, man, you got some good ideas. You should be a producer. You should try to go out to LA and see if you can get your, get in the door there. Next thing you know, he's huge. And so I saw him again. I think it was at a Black Crow show. He produced them too. And I said, Brendan, how are you, man? And he was like, hey, Don, and I said, hey, remember that tire? $200 I loaned you for that tire.
Where's my money, rich man?
I need my $200 back, right?
I need a gold record. I need a platinum record from AC/DC, and I need my goddamn $200 back for the tire. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, right.
But it is interesting, like what you talking about in Detroit. I remember we had you guys here for Rockin' on the Riverfront when we would do that by Winter Garden and over the years, and I was looking up all the times you guys played Play Knob and Kobo and all the different venues. Yeah, we gravitate to you guys because I want a band that works hard. That you go on stage. I the men and women that work their ass off here in Detroit, the blue collar mentality, just like in the South. And you're like, okay, I want to have a drink. And I want to see some band that goes out there and just doesn't mail it in. And you guys always, and it's not pedestrian to say this, you bust your ass when you get on stage. You really lean into it.
That's the work ethic, I guess, but we also appreciate the fact that people do make that drive to the arena and they got to find a parking place. First of all, they got to find a babysitter. They got to find a parking place, get in the building, get a beer and all that. So we appreciate it. It takes a lot to do that. So we want to come out and be 110%. And it's that work ethic. My dad drove a train for 40 years. He was an engineer, and he told me one time he pulled a train. It was 5 miles long. He had 5 engines, 5 diesel engines. And he said it took a mile to stop. So he was one of those guys that was like, man, that work ethic, it's like, so I guess I got influenced by my dad to go out there and make it happen every time.
Well, I wonder too, like you think about the whole influence of Skinner and obviously you guys, that whole world, which if you did like a Venn diagram where everything was overlapping, all those bands, you guys all just that was part of it, right? I assume you pushed each other too.
It was all those bands. Ronnie Van Zant was a big mentor for the band. He was about 5 years older than us, but we saw them go out and they're like a football team. They went out to be triumphant. They weren't out there to stare at the shoes and say, thank you very much. Our next song is this, they went out there to win every night. And we took some great influence from that. We actually opened for them back in the 70s, late 70s. And Ronnie would come backstage and say, how you boys feel tonight? Because you better put it out there because we're going to be coming for you, and it's like makes you steel up and really go for it. So we learned a lot about that, going out and be triumphant, and God help who has to follow you. That's really how our attitude was opening shows all those years and we got bumped off a couple of tours because of the headliner was getting shown up every night because they're not hungry. We were that hungry to go out there and win every night, Peter.
Okay. Oh, well, all right. Okay. Well, now we know. Because I'd always heard Skinner, was it like the Rolling Stones told him, don't walk out on the tongue? And,
That's right.
And Ronnie said, screw you. And he went out there and did it anyway.
Ronnie was defiant, man. He was one of those guys. It's like, he was from the wrong side of the tracks and made the whole world listen to him. So, yeah.
That's what made it fun. And that's what makes you guys fun. I always wondered, though, your guys' music, Don. And again, all I haven't said is just absolutely amazing. I love the sound of it. And it's a great summer song. I know the album comes out September, but it's got a great vibe to it. I call it, it's patio for me. I'm a patio guy.
Oh,
yeah. Put it on. But the same thing can be said for, I wrote this down. I was thinking about if I'd been the one, Caught Up in You, Hold On Loosely. There is a sonic nature to those songs that not just the radio, anytime you put it on a Sonos speaker or wherever you hear it, were you guys, because you sounded just bigger than a lot of the Southern rock bands when I would hear you guys. Were you aware of that? I mean, was that a goal?
Yeah, there's a lot of separation of guitars and, and production, compression and that kind of thing. But yeah, you're trying to make it kind of 3D, you want it to come out where you hear both sides all happening at once, all I haven't said is that if you just listen to the right side, there's a droning guitar that just drones one note. Well, the other guitar does the riff thing, but it was a lot of those, like you were talking about other groups, they did use a lot of compression, and that squeezes everything down into it. We didn't really marry ourselves to so much compression. We wanted it to be larger, so bigger. And on radio, it comes out, well, there's natural compression on radio because it's being broadcast, but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's just painstaking efforts to make something that audio wise, pleasing and all that. And back to the song, All I Haven't Said, that was a kind of a throwback to my influence. I was kind of an attentive student to all those hit songs with great choruses. I mean, I would have day jobs, and I was married at 19 with a baby going to work, and I'd hear these songs that just fell out of the sky, just like Kansas. I told them that Carry On My Way, I said, man, that just came out of nowhere. It's like it just fell out of the sky. And, and I wanted to learn how to put songs together from that kind of, anyway, it was a kind of a throwback to the Searchers and the Beatles and like that kind of British invasion harmonies and stuff.
I like the guitar solo towards the end of the song and All I Haven't Said. I like the
Gary Riggs. Yeah.
Okay. Is that weird? Is that just me being weird, or that's a very intentional thing where you guys put?
Yeah, we just we kind of wanted a little interplay with the organ too, with the guitar and the organ back and forth, but Jerry's just a master at it. I actually purposely didn't play any solos on this record because Jerry is so good, and I played so many solos from some 20, 15 albums, and I want him to be recognized. I want all those guys to be recognized. We went in there, all five of us together. Back in those days, we were recording a little more carefully. We'd layer things and overdub. And by the end of the project, I'm thinking, where is that bombastic live sound that I was looking for? And it was a little too clean, a little too safe. And this one, we all went in together and just threw it down. And we've been playing together for a long time. Even the new guys have been there 32 years. So, so it's one of those things where we actually kind of have that chemistry.
And not only you got the new single, All I Haven't Said, you got the new project, and you shot a music video that you were aware was a music video. Not like the first time you guys stuff on MTV when I think you guys think it was just like a promo shoot or something?
Yeah, that was, we were the 13th video, the first day of MTV. And back then they had no content. MTV was, the record companies weren't flooding them with videos. And so they had a 3-camera crew that came out to Denver. And my manager said, do you care if they film a little bit of live stuff? And it's like, man, whatever. What is this? And it's called MTV. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. But they came out and filmed, and they, he wanted me to do a little promo spot. He held up a card for me to read. And I remember saying, "You're watching MTV, you'll never hear music the same way again." And I thought, what an odd little slogan that was. In hindsight, I guess I should have bought stock in the company, but at the time I didn't know anything about it. But yeah, 13th video that day. But like I said, they would send out their own camera crew and create content.
So wait a minute. So MTV sent them to film you?
Yeah, MTV's camera crew. They flew them out to Denver. They were trying to just find things to air on the station, the new station. Just started.
Boy. Yeah. It feels like ready, fire, aim. But yeah, that was always like, cause I remember like when it first started, Don, we would hook up a cassette to a VCR and we would record music. We would record an hour of MTV and then listen to it in our car.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ready, fire, aim. That's great. That's a good Joe Walsh song title. I could see him doing that,
So we got the tour, got the album coming out in September. We got All I Haven't Said now. I know you guys will be in Ohio, but we don't mind road trip in Ohio as long as we don't have to stay there for a football game. We're fine. We're fine. We can put up with that, man. We can deal with them. We'll go down there and beat Ohio State's ass again one more time.
Yeah, I won't say the B word there, so
don't do it. Yeah. Hey, one time Bruce was here years ago. I was at the Palace of Auburn Hills when he said, "Hello, Ohio." Yeah, here. And
he did?
I was hand to God. I looked at my buddy and he goes, "Did he just?" And little Steven like leans in going, "Hey, Bruce, yeah, no." Funny. Bruce went off. He was yelling, goes, 40 goddamn years. I've never done that. I'm so sorry.
I had a stage manager one time. We played in North Carolina, and it was near Duke University, and they have Chapel Hill. They're major rivals. And and my stage manager says, "Hey, if you really want to win over the crowd," it was an amphitheater, and he said, "Say sometime during the show, say, hey, how about those Duke Devils?" And I said, "Okay, yeah." So I get out there and about halfway through, and hey, how about those Duke Devils? Boo! The whole place booed. And it turns out we were closer to the rival school, Chapel Hill. I turned around to him and said, "Don't help me, man.
Never again. You're done. I don't want to hear anything from you."
Yeah.
Hey, I got one last thing. I was thinking about this. Like, I was just watching the Blues Brothers movie and the scene with the chicken wire where they're getting beer bottles whipped out. And you talked about the guys of the AC/DC. But what about 38 Special? Did you ever have a Blues Brothers moment like that?
Well, there was, we did come through the dirt floor clubs, and there were times where it was literally dirt floor clubs, but there was some place in, I think it was Elizabeth, North Carolina or something, but it was so bad of a place. You did not want to be there. We pretended that one of the amps blew up and we didn't have another one, so we had to just leave. We just wanted to get out of there. That guy was like, "Hey, I'm not going to pay you." That's okay too. We're just getting out of here. It's just some places are really seedy. That was the same place that there was a girl standing out there, and Donnie Van Zant said, "I thought she had shoes on," and it turns out that was her black feet. She was that dirty. Have to check with Ricky, Hey, we've got a second single coming out next month, and it's with Pat Monahan with Train. He helped me sing. We did a duet with together. It's called Slightly Controversial, and it's big guitar banger in your face. Different. Every song on the album is different from each one of them. It's a real ride. It's a big, like I said, a lot of banger rock songs, and there's a couple of mid-tempo introspective. All I Haven't Said was just a diamond. We just wanted to put that out there. They felt like it was more of a good gateway back to radio because of the sentiment of it and everything. Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that's in your face, attitude songs, all that. So yeah, we're looking forward to the release there.
Did you ever have any connections with Ozzy other than like the rest of us being a fan of his music?
Well, we did some shows. We're in Europe and over here. We did some Super Bowl of rock or something. There was a big stadium and had everybody there. Remember Triumph, and they had Aerosmith and everybody. But we got there to the stadium, and we were to share. They had just played Ozzy's band. It just was when he was trying to do a solo career, and I think Randy Rhoads was there too. But they had just finished, and so we were to share their dressing room. And it's a stadium, so it's basically locker rooms and showers and that kind of thing. So we walked in, we just got there, and then look over in the shower, and here comes Ozzy, completely butt naked, walking out. He said, "Hi, mate." So we were like, okay, a little much to take. We just got here, Ozzy, but yeah, he didn't care, but it was funny.
I think I always wonder that my son is 22 years old, Don, and he's studying music, and he wants to be a producer, but he's in marketing. He loves it,
Oh,
and he loves Ozzy. And then I'm thinking, our age, Ozzy is a one-word guy that 100 years from now, people will still talk about him with reverence for the arc of the music and everything about him.
there's that emotional connection with songs, and he somehow won over being a metal artist, but there are a lot of his songs about I don't want to change the world, I don't want the world to change me, those kind of things like that. People feel that, they make that connection, and that's what we try to do with songs too, is make some kind of emotional connection. Like you said, over If I'd Been the One and all those songs in the past, people say, I felt just like that guy. You don't want it, because you can say, "Ooh, baby, I love you, I miss you" all day long, but it's just contrived, made up song, But if it comes from real life experiences and your real feelings, then people relate to it.
Special Forces was, I was in the Navy, the submarine service for 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
And when we would go to sea, we were gone for 3 months at a time underwater. We only had so much room for cassettes. So you were in heavy rotation for 2 patrols. Probably had a 180-day period where you were one of 5 cassettes that I listened to every day.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. We did. It's true, man. And it just became a thing. So you are permanently ingrained in my mind. When I hear a 38 Special song, I go back. I go back to there, and then I love the idea that I can listen to new stuff and enjoy it just as much. Sounds just as good.
Right. Those songs are, we wanted to build them just like anything else. And, there was one thing that's back then there was an element of desperation, because it's a career and it's something that you don't really recommend somebody trying, because it's a lot of chances to fail. So you want to, you want to put your best foot forward. So we put If I'd Been the One, those kind of songs, at this stage in our life, that element of desperation is not there. So we just have fun, because we still do 100 cities a year in and year out. We've got too much work to do. Our agent said we have to turn down 50 offers every year because you just can't fit them all in there. So.
Well, I'll drive to Ohio. Okay, fine. I'm driving.
Come on and see us. I look forward to it.
Come on down. I'll bring you a Michigan Wolverine jersey so you get on stage and
yeah.
How about those Wolverine?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on everything. We'll talk soon. You're always welcome.
So
you know that. Anytime.
Thanks,
son.
Love to see you. Thank you, bud.
Thanks, man.